This YouTube video will help you decide if the ServiceNow Rollup Viewer is right for your organization. The Rollup Viewer will take either formula or automatic indicator scores that have an assignment group breakdown and roll those values up through the management hierarchy. In this view of sample data from a personal development instance, we see the entire management structure from all the assignment groups that can accept an incident up to the CEO of the organization. Each assignment group is usually composed of many technicians. Switching our view to the Incident Management dashboard and then selecting the Incident Open tab. We see an indicator that simply counts the number of active incidents. The indicator has an assignment group breakdown applied. Now, switching back to the Rollup Viewer display. Every assignment group has a manager, and that manager reports to a senior management, which in turn reports to a director, etc. The Rollup Viewer will take those counts in this example and roll them up the management staff so you can see how the various vertical management staff compare. Here's a view of the indicator we previously saw in the dashboard that counts the number of open incidents. We can zoom in on the lower management structures where those numbers are obscured by the lack of space on the display. So I first click on the box for Manager Kathleen. The display will zoom in on her box. Notice her downline all expands and the contents of her downline are now visible. Take note that Kathleen has 3 managers that report to her and 1 manager that is also a manager of the hardware assignment group. The number of open tickets for Kathleen for November 11th is 40. If you were to sum the scores of the 4 managers that report to her, you would get the total of 40. Cyril has a project score of 2. For Lucas, who is above the project management group, his score is 9. For Timothy, above the capacity management group, his score is 6. And Valerie's score of 23 for the hardware group. Since by coincidence only, each of Kathleen's downline is a path to just 1 assignment group. So we can look at the 4 assignment group breakdowns and sum those scores to get the total of 40. If we now go into the hub, we can verify these scores. So clicking on the hub takes us directly to this indicator's last score. We need to make certain that the date on the hub matches the date shown in the Rollup Viewer. To see the scores for each assignment group, expand the Breakdowns menu and click on the Assignment Group Breakdowns. At the top, we see Hardware with a score of 23. Project Management has a score of 9. Capacity Management with a score of 6. And Change Management with a score of 2. Returning to the Rollup Viewer, if you examine each direct report for Kathleen, you can see that Cyril contributes 5% to Kathleen's score, Lucas 23%, Timothy 15%, and 57% of Kathleen's score comes from Valerie. Let's get a full view of the management hierarchy and note that the CEO's score is 270. Going back to the hub, we can see the score is 270. They match. Returning to the Rollup Viewer, I want to create some standard reports for drill down purposes. Going to Kathleen's score box, I will drill into Kathleen's score by triple clicking on Kathleen's score box. 3 reports will appear. Note, you must allow pop-ups for this to work. Of the 3 reports that appear, 1 is the manager's report. This shows the manager's score over time. Each data point is clickable, and with that you can zoom in on the records that made up that score. Clicking on a data point will take you to the record that holds a link to view the associated records in a report. Click on the path shown in the Drilldown Report column. A list of these tickets and report system that make up the score for the date is shown. Click on the Category column menu and select Pie Chart. Under the Style, select Display Data Labels and save the report. For that manager's score, you see a breakdown of the categories of the tickets that were still open on that date. The second report, called the Manager's Subordinates Report, shows the manager's immediate downline performance compared to each other. The stacked bars can be used for comparison purposes. If you click on an element of that stack bar, you can then zoom in on the records by clicking on the path in the Drilldown Report column, and then see the incidents that make up the segment. Once viewing the report, if you click on the menu for priority and select Pie Chart, you can see the proportions of priority for that manager segment for the date. Let's explore the menus of the Rollup Viewer going across the top. Looking at the Rollup Viewer First menu, you can see from the indicator menu that many kinds of KPIs can be rolled up through the hierarchy and management's performance values measured and compared. The Date menu corresponds to the date the data shown below was collected. Within the display, you can find any manager by selecting the Find Manager menu. If a manager appears multiple times, it is because they manage many assignment groups, or they both manage people and one or more assignment groups, or any group with the Find Group menu. Next, the Master Report selection shows the performance curve for all scores in the display. The graphical display of curves may get very busy, but the real value in this report is the totals seen in the grid below the chart. The Hub button, as we have seen before, will take you to the Performance Analytics Hub for the indicator currently displayed. The arrow buttons expand or contracts the screen. This is useful if your management hierarchy is very deep. The KB Article button will display the knowledge article about this utility in a new window. The Explain Hover Over shows any description that was entered into the Performance Indicators description box. The HR Hover Over will tell you the roll-up method used to roll up the data in the hierarchy. This can be a customized function. The Daily Hover Over is the performance indicator frequency, so it may show as weekly, monthly, etc. The Group Hover Over is either group or user. Group means the extreme right box scores of the display are all from the assignment group breakdowns. User means that the assigned to the value on the record was used as a breakdown and is shown in the boxes. To configure a performance indicator for use in the Rollup Viewer, select the menu, Managers, Performance, Configs, Menu Selection, and select the New button. In the Indicator field, select Search icon and select an indicator. When you save the record, all the other fields will fill in with their default values. I recommend saving versus selecting the Submit button, so you can adjust values if needed. If a formula indicator is selected, the system may have trouble determining what kind of formula it is. It will show the value of, quote, overwrite me, unquote, in the function field. In that case, select the type of formula the indicator is about. Also, the last period field represents when to start calculating roll-up values. It also represents where the roll-up calculator last left off. By default, it is set to 30 days back from the current date for indicators with a daily frequency. It is set to 6 months back for a frequency of weekly and 24 months back for yearly. If you want to roll up for all time, set the period to 19/01/01/01. That is January 1, 1901. Thank you for taking the time to review this tool. I hope you can find it useful.